Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Evolutions, and today it's going to be a little bit different. I'm bringing you guys the review for One Piece chapter 1061. This chapter was honestly really crazy, insane character reveal. We're going to get into all of that later, but I just want to talk to you guys that I hope you guys are enjoying the gaming content. I'm going to be dipping into a little bit more of anime content. If you guys don't know, I am highly into anime. I like to talk about anime pretty much all the time whenever I get around all my friends. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys think I should do more anime content, I will. And let's get into the video. So chapter 1061, like I said earlier, crazy character reveal. Honestly, we've been hearing about this character for years now. Like, there was talks about this character from Thriller Bark, and that character is Dr. VEGAPUNK. We've been hearing about this character all the way back from Thriller Bark. She was connected to Kuma and the whole government doing experiments on him, all that stuff. So everything is finally kind of getting connected. We're getting a little bit more insight on what exactly is going on. So that's really good. If you're a true One Piece fan, you know that there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't have any answers, and it's really frustrating. But at the same time, it's kind of interesting because the mystery and the community, it kind of builds up around all these things, and we kind of gather around and have some good conversations, some theories, and stuff like that. And I also think that this is a very huge milestone for One Piece because, like I said, like, we've been hearing about Dr. VEGAPUNK for years. We had no insight on what she looked like or what he looked like or how they were going to be introduced, when they were going to be introduced. We just had no insight on when, where, and how. So it's really interesting how right now she got introduced, and the way she was introduced was very interesting, and it's typical of One Piece because here they are in the middle of nowhere, don't know where they are. They run into Bonnie, which was already one cool character to have on screen, and the way they ran into her was like they didn't know where they were, they didn't know what the island was, and Bonnie's like, what the hell, you guys don't know where you're at? This is the island, this is the world government island. Like, they're 500 years into the future, and they're all just so oblivious, and it was just kind of funny. And then later on in the chapter, VEGAPUNK appears, so it's kind of like, it's typical and it's kind of funny at the same time, but ultimately it's a huge milestone. I also believe that this is a good place to be because, you know, typical One Piece, like when there's a big arc, they kind of go on a breather island or they take a little break. And what I mean by that is like they go to a sub island or just another island that isn't really popular with too many major enemies, but it does have a lot of lore and insight on what's going to happen or who the main enemy or what they're going to be doing in the next island. And I personally think Egg Island is the best option. Obviously Elbaf would be better, but if it's not Elbaf, this is the best island because Egg Island, like I said, they're 500 years into the future. It's the world government island. They have all the mysteries, they have a lot of answers. So as One Piece fans, we're going to be uncovering a lot of mysteries that we talked about. There's going to be a lot of lore revealed, a lot of characters are going to be introduced that have a lot to do with the main plot. I honestly think this island is worth it. It's good for the story. It's going to create a good pace. It's going to give us knowledge on who's going to be the main enemy or what exactly the world government is doing. Before, we didn't have too much knowledge on the world government. It was all mystery. Like, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what they were planning. But now at the end of Wano, they were talking about the gum fruit, how it's a very dangerous fruit, how they had it and Shanks stole it, and now they're kind of going after the Straw Hats because Luffy is the one with the gum fruit. And going back to Egg Island, like, there was some doubt because we all know there was going to be that break island where they were going to be before Elbaf. So I did personally have some doubts on the pacing, if this was going to be worth it. I wasn't sure if we were going to be sitting 15 chapters worth of kind of not too exciting content or just kind of slow pace, typical One Piece pace of stuff that is important but not really exciting. So this island, I do genuinely feel like it's worth it because they're 500 years into the future. We got introduced to VEGAPUNK, Bonnie's here, like a lot of stuff is going on already or has the potential to be a lot of content or lore, which is really exciting for a viewer, and I'm kind of excited to go on to Egg Island. So I really like how Egg Island is going to be more so geared toward the world government on what they're doing, and we're going to get a lot of insight on what exactly is going on, what they're planning, what their whole plan is, and how it ties into the main plot of One Piece. Obviously, the main plot, or what we think the main plot, is One Piece. Luffy getting the One Piece and becoming Pirate King. That's kind of what's going to happen. But we don't know, first of all, we definitely don't know what the One Piece is, and we don't really know what the world government is doing. We learned in Zou who the 4 Yonkos were, what the main enemies, what the main tasks were going to be, what Luffy would have to do, or what the Straw Hats would have to do in order to make Luffy Pirate King. So we learned all about that in Zoe, and we kind of knew who the main enemies were, and we kind of had an idea of what was going to happen in the upcoming arc. But now we're on Egg Island and we're learning about the world government, and we get a little taste on the world government, what they've been planning, what they're going to be doing, and who the main enemies are going to be. I really like this because for a long time we knew about the world government, but we just didn't know exactly what they were planning, who they were. There was a lot of things that we just had a lot of questions about, like were the admirals the end-all be-all? The fleet admiral was the big boss, but now there's higher ups, which is really interesting because that means that there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about that we're just gonna learn about on this island, which is great. Also, the Revolutionary Army, we get a little bit more insight on what they're planning to do. We know that they've been fighting against the world government behind the scenes for as long as we can remember in One Piece, and now we're getting a little bit more of live on-screen action of what they're doing, how they're fighting. Sabo's missing, we don't know exactly what happened to him. I personally believe he's still alive, but let me know what you guys think down below. A lot of loose ends are just kind of getting tied up, and we're seeing a lot more done on screen rather than off screen. So it's really good to see the stuff that was off screen, the major stuff that was off screen. We all know Oda likes to off screen some stuff, and you never see it, but now for us to see it is huge. It's really satisfying as a reader and a viewer. I know we've been waiting for this kind of info for such a long time, and for it to kind of take form and the puzzle pieces are kind of shifting and taking their places in the main picture is honestly amazing, and it's such a reward as a long viewer or reader for One Piece. Now going back to Kuma and Thriller Bark, we learned about the world government doing experiments on him and how he was a former leader of the world government. Now is the place to kind of uncover why they're doing experiments on him. Why him? Why he was a Shichibukai? What did the government want with him? What did he have that was so special? What did he bring to the table? Basically, why Kuma? You know what I mean? Also, Bonnie, why was she there alone even? Was she alone? I don't know. But we found her alone. She was fighting off the shark. The Straw Hats kind of saved her. They had a whole mini reunion. I really want to know why she was there, what she's doing there. And honestly, she knew what that island was before the Straw Hats knew. So obviously she intended to go there, or at least that's my assumption. I'm thinking, is she strong enough to be there? Is she able to handle her own? I'm very interested to see what Bonnie is actually capable of, because she was the only girl supernova, which is really interesting, and it kind of highlights her a lot. I personally like that they added that one girl that's really badass, or is supposed to be badass, out of all these other male supernovas. I just really want to know, and I'm pretty sure the community wants to know why or how this all ties in together. As you guys all know, if you're caught up or pay attention to the manga or the anime, when the Straw Hats went to Punk Hazard, Law was there and they formed an alliance. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are thinking, what if Bonnie and the Straw Hats form an alliance like Law did with the Straw Hats and Punk Hazard? That could be a possibility. Storyline right now would allow it. I'm not sure if it would happen, but I'm curious to see how it would go down or what it would mean for the rest of the pirate world or the world government, how they would react to it. And we saw Kobe. We finally saw Kobe after some time, and we kind of saw his friends, his quote-unquote crew. We got Helimpo, we got Hibari, Tashigi's back, she was on screen, and we know how Vegapunk connects to Smoker and Tashigi, who also connect through Kobe. And Kobe's captured by Blackbeard. We don't exactly know why, but we're wondering why Kobe would have been captured by Blackbeard. Is Blackbeard cooking something up in the background that we don't know? Does Kobe have a lot of intel or insight? Does he have a lot of value? We don't know. And going back to Kobe's crew, like, these are kind of the quote-unquote good guys of the world government. And we know the Revolutionary Army, their goal is not necessarily to destroy the world government, but to get rid of the celestial dragons and then to refine the world government. That way it's not corrupt, there's no injustice. So I do think Sword is very important. They're going to reform the whole world government, and I'm glad Kobe's a part of that. He's not kind of evil. He doesn't go for injustice. So I'm really glad that's a thing. So I do think Sword is very important for that reason. I also want to talk about how Vegapunk was talking about how no matter what she did, she wasn't able to kind of get rid of that primal instinct that Shark had for free will. And that's kind of like a nudge to the main idea of One Piece, free will, freedom. We all kind of know Luffy wants freedom, and he actually referred to Gear 5th as him at his freest, or when he's most free. So it's really interesting. I feel like that was kind of like a nudge towards the main idea of One Piece. I'm really excited as a reader, and that's it for the video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. This is my first anime review, so if you like this content, be sure to let me know down below. Also, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.